Something that's been on my mind is Brandon Ingram and where he went, where he kind of just disappeared to. I know he's on the Raptors now in that trade back then with the Pelicans and the Raptors, right? But at the same time, he hasn't been playing this season, and why did he end his Pelicans career like that? Like, obviously there was no drama, but the way him and the Pelicans came to an end was so quiet and untalked about. What is up, y'all, and welcome back to another video. And today we're going to be talking about Brandon Ingram, as you saw in the intro. And before we get into everything, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe. I'm trying to grow my channel, get as much people along with me for the ride as I can. So if you guys do that, I would appreciate it a lot. And now let's get into the video. And what got me thinking was a tweet from Legion Hoops about a couple weeks ago. It was a while ago, but I always kind of just had the back of my head this thought, and it was from Jake L. Fisher saying Brandon Ingram reportedly declined a $160 million offer from the Pelicans before he accepted a $120 million deal with the Raptors after the trade. And just thinking about this, I was like, wow, he really left $40 million on the table. Why would he do that? And there could be a bunch of reasons why he didn't want to do that. Maybe he thought, he could have got more later if he played better, and then he ended up getting injured a lot, got traded, and then, had to take whatever he could. Or, there's more to this. Maybe there's something with the Pelicans that he did not like, something that, caused drama there that we have no idea about. And just to remind you guys, Brandon Ingram is not no slouch. This year he averaged 22, 5, and 5 around, but just 2 years ago he was averaging 25, 6, and 5, and his efficiency was better than what you would think. Even this season when he's played, he shot the ball really well. He shooting 46 from the field, 37 from 3. But just looking back 2 years ago when he was averaging 25, he was shooting 48 from the field and 39 from 3. Like, Brandon Ingram is a bucket. And honestly, he's one of the most underrated players in the league. With only one All-Star appearance, I feel like he should have more. And the fact that the Raptors got him for 2 old contracts, basically role players with big contracts, and 1 first-round pick and a second, that's a steal in my opinion. They got him for that low of a price, and I feel like it's not talked about nearly enough as what it should be talked about. And honestly, I think the Raptors could be sneakily good next season. I know they're playing bad. They're kind of in a weird mediocrity realm. But, next season, RJ Barrett healthy, Brandon Ingram playing with them. They have Scotty Barnes. They have Emmanuel Quickley. They have Jakob. They have a good team. They have Grady Dick, who's a freaking bucket as well. The Raptors could be kind of decent next year, or a playoff team, and I feel like we're all overlooking it. But let's get back to the main topic of the video, Brandon Ingram and his departure from New Orleans. So this might be a long shot. This might be, getting a lot of hate in the comments because I'm going to say this right now, but I feel like the main reason why Brandon Ingram didn't want to take that extension and wanted to maybe get a trade out of New Orleans is because Trey Murphy, if you guys are not familiar with his game, has been a bucket recently, this year and last year. And unfortunately, he's dealing with an injury right now that he's not going to play for the rest of the season. But looking at his stats, he's averaging 21, 5, and 3.5, similar to what you would get from Brandon Ingram. So, Brandon Ingram was thinking, okay, this 24-year-old's about to take my spot, and I'm about to get my value way lower if I stay at the Pelicans. And I feel like that could be, an actual possibility and why he didn't sign that contract and why, he was fine leaving New Orleans. Obviously, we don't really know if it was his decision to leave New Orleans or it was the organization. And it probably was the organization because they're paying him a lot. And, they kind of just wanted to refresh, restart, and build around their new guys. But I don't know, man. Something tells me that the Trey Murphy, situation is the reason why Brandon Ingram got traded. And during one of Brandon Ingram's press conferences for the Toronto Raptors, he actually got, surprised by some of his Toronto Raptor teammates, and he starts talking about, what he thinks about them. And it's something cool. I'm gonna play the video and I'm gonna talk about it after.
Obviously, you can see that your guys are here, which I think is a showing of just how they're all here. Is there anything that you'd like to say to them of just your commitment to them, the way that they've obviously committed to you?
Well, I appreciate everybody for, welcoming me with open arms. Cole, that's going to be my dog. That's going to be my rook, Scotty, I appreciate him. I think he's going to bring the goofy side out of me. PD, Pat, I appreciate him. Everybody over there, they've been welcoming, and, I appreciate every last one of them.
And from this, you can kind of see Brandon Ingram's surprised that his teammates were there at his press conference. But I'm not going to dive too deep into this because it's kind of just a welcome thing like Brandon Ingram said here. But it does seem like he's very happy to be there. It kind of seems wholesome. It kind of feels like he seems wanted in a sense. And honestly, it's nice to see. But who really knows what the real situation is going on there? I just thought it was something cool to note. And just talking about the Pelicans in general, right? We have Zion Williamson for you guys. He's been a star, but he's never been on the he's playing on the court. So, that's been a big issue. And I don't really know if the Pelicans will blow it up because they're kind of in a weird situation. They have DeJounte Murray's contract. They have CJ McCollum's contract. They're both kind of getting up there in age. CJ is more than DeJounte. But, I don't really know what the Pelicans are going to do. Are they going to reset, build around Trey Murphy, build around Herb Jones, maybe? Build around, Yves Messi? I don't know how to say his name. Something like that, Yves Messi. But, you get the point. I don't really know the route the Pelicans are going to go. And, if they're doing this with Brandon Ingram, if they're shipping him off, they could be going the young route. But who knows? Maybe I'm just over-speculating. Maybe I'm just reaching for news because there hasn't been much big NBA news recently. But, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Like the video, like I said before, follow. But I'm actually interested to see what you guys are going to think. Because, I've been reading all my comments and I've been replying to most of them. So, seeing your guys' thoughts helps me a lot. Helps expand my ball knowledge. So, yeah, I appreciate all those. And, yeah, man, like the video, like I just said. Subscribe to all that stuff. And we out.